All right, so we've walked through the cosmic tree, we've talked about how to cut that root of false ownership, and that brings us to the final and maybe the most profound idea in chapter 15, the Supreme Person. Now, this isn't about some distant god or a figure in the sky, it's something way more intimate. So what does it actually mean? And why is getting this the key to ending all confusion for good? So, here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at why Krishna brings this up at this exact moment. Then, we're going to clear up some major misconceptions before diving into what this unchanging witness really is. After that, we'll explore why this recognition is such a game changer, and finally, we'll see how we can apply it to find some real stability in our lives today. Okay, let's just get right to it, the big question that frames this whole thing. When Krishna uses this term, Purushottama, or the Supreme Person, what on earth is he actually pointing to? You know, it's a phrase that can feel really big, kind of abstract, but I promise you, its implications are incredibly personal. Now, before we can build the right understanding, we have to tear down the wrong ones. For most people, you hear Supreme Person and the mind instantly pictures these kinds of things. Some kind of superhuman being, a god that's way out there, or some cosmic authority figure. But what we're about to see is that Krishna's teaching is really designed to point us inward, not outward. And that brings us to our first major point. Timing is everything. Krishna is an absolute master teacher, and the order he presents these ideas in is no accident. There's a very, very specific reason he waits all the way until chapter 15 to introduce this powerful concept. You see, he waits until Arjuna has walked a pretty long road. He waits until action has been purified through karma yoga, until devotion has grown up, moved beyond just simple ritual. He waits until that crucial ability to discriminate, to tell the difference between what's real and what's not, has become stable. And most importantly, as we just saw with the cosmic tree, he waits until the whole mechanism of attachment has been completely understood. Only on that solid foundation can this teaching really land. And here is why that's so critical. Without all that groundwork, the idea of a supreme person just becomes another toy for the mind to play with. We just project our own hopes, our fears, our limitations onto it. So Krishna waits until the slate of all that false identity has been wiped clean before he shows what's really there. Okay, so now that we get the timing, let's get really clear about what the Supreme Person is not. Think of this as a process of elimination. It's what the ancient sages called niti-niti, not this, not that. So the Supreme Person is not your physical body, right? That changes, it ages. It's not the endlessly chattering mind with all its plans and worries. It's not your emotions, which shift like clouds in the sky. It's not your personality, that collection of habits and quirks. And it is definitely not the gunas, those basic qualities of nature, or that whole cosmic tree of attachment we just talked about. And why not? Well, because every single one of those things changes. They're all things we experience. Now, this line right here can totally shift your perspective. We're so used to looking for things, for objects out there. But this teaching points us back to the very source of our perception. It's not another thing you can observe. It's the very light of awareness that allows you to observe anything at all. All right, so now that we've cleared away what it isn't, we can start to build a much more accurate picture of what it is. And Krishna gives us a brilliant framework to do this. Krishna breaks reality down into 3 layers. First, you have the perishable. That's the body, the mind, all the changing stuff we just listed. Then, a layer deeper, you have the imperishable. That's the silent, witnessing consciousness that just observes everything. And then, at the very core, transcending both of them, is the Supreme Person. It's the ultimate ground of being that allows both the changing world and the unchanging witness to even appear. I know this can still sound a bit abstract, so let's make it super personal. Bring it into your direct experience, right here, right now. Just for a second, forget all the philosophy. Just check in with yourself. What is the one thing that's been constant your entire life? Think about your thoughts. They just appear, right? They might hang around for a moment, and then they just dissolve. One thought gets replaced by another in a never-ending stream. There's zero stability there. And it's the exact same story with your feelings. Happiness, sadness, excitement, boredom, they all come and go. No single emotion defines who you are because none of them stick around. They're just visitors passing through. And here is the whole point. While all of that, the thoughts, the feelings, the sensations, is in constant motion, the simple, quiet awareness of it all has always been here.
That steady background presence that knows I am thinking or I am feeling sad, that is the constant. And that constancy is the signpost pointing directly to what Krishna is talking about.
So what? Why is this so important? Well, recognizing your identity as this unchanging awareness isn't just a cool philosophical idea. It has profound, real-world consequences. In fact, it's the very thing that ends delusion. Just look at the contrast here. When your sense of self is based on things that change, your job, your bank account, what people think of you, you live in constant fear because you know all of that can disappear. Success makes your ego swell up. Failure completely crushes you. But when you shift your identity to that unchanging witness, fear just loses its power. You can still experience loss, but it's put in a much larger context. You find a stable sense of self that doesn't ride the roller coaster of life's ups and downs. And this is so important to get. This isn't about becoming some passive zombie or running away from the world. Not at all. You still act, you still engage, you still live your life with passion. The huge difference is you're acting from a place of deep clarity, not from existential confusion. The movie of life keeps playing, but you're no longer lost in the plot. So, how can we take this ancient wisdom and use it to find some genuine stability in our totally chaotic modern world? I mean, let's be real. Our world is pretty much defined by instability, isn't it? Careers shift constantly. Our identities feel scattered across different platforms. We are just drowning in information. Everything feels uncertain, and that creates this deep underlying anxiety for so many of us. The Gita offers a really radical solution here. Stop anchoring your sense of I to things that are naturally unstable. Don't base your worth on your job title, or on what other people think, or even on your own moods that change from hour to hour. Instead, make a conscious choice to anchor your identity to that one thing we found that never changes, that silent background awareness that's always here. And when you really start to make that shift, something amazing happens. You start to develop resilience, but it's not a hard, brittle armor, it's a flexible strength. You can engage with life passionately, but without getting all tangled up in the drama. And you find this genuine humility that doesn't come from feeling bad about yourself, but from a profound sense of inner security. So as we wrap this up, you can really see the beautiful, logical arc of this entire chapter. First, Krishna shows us the cosmic tree, so we can see the whole structure of our attachments. Then, he gives us the axe of detachment, so we can cut the root of identifying with the wrong things. And finally, he reveals what's left when all the falsehood is gone, the simple recognition of what you truly are. And I'll just leave you with this final thought to ponder. What if this whole spiritual journey isn't about finding something new or achieving some special state? What if the Supreme Person isn't a destination we have to struggle to reach, but is simply our natural state? What just effortlessly remains when all the layers of confusion and mental noise finally fall away?